So as you guys surely know, AIPAC and the Israel lobby more broadly have become lightning rods in American politics, in no small part thanks to this website. Let's put this up on the screen, where you can go and you can check out various members of Congress, various candidates, and see just how much money they have taken from AIPAC or from the Israel lobby overall. You now have even centrist Democrats like Seth Moulton saying they are no longer going to take AIPAC funds. And we are very fortunate to be joined this morning for their first public interview ever by the co-founders of Citizens Against AIPAC Corruption. We have Corey Archibald and Casey Kennedy. Welcome, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks
for coming. Yeah, of course. So I want to get a little bit of your backstory, what you think the impact of the organization has been. But first, just tell us a little bit about yourselves. And you've been anonymous up to this point. What made you decide, Corey, I'll start with you, to come forward in this moment?
Sure. Well, so a little bit about me. I started working in progressive politics in 2017. I was chair of the board of Brand New Congress for 6 years, and I worked on a lot of progressive campaigns. I helped work on AOC's initial campaign for Congress. I worked with Cori Bush on her first 2 runs for Congress, and also Jamal Bowen and a number of others, but those 3 in particular are really close to me. Through that's how I got to be really familiar with the work that AIPAC is doing and their influence on our elections. And so that's kind of where I got started in this process. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, how about you, Casey?
So I've been working in the digital marketing space for about 10 years now. I've done both private sector work and I've worked on political campaigns for like city council and a local congressional race. Basically, how I got into the AIPAC sphere was actually back in 2020, is the first time I watched the documentary The Lobby. It's a deep dive investigative piece. They go undercover and really they pull back the curtain on AIPAC and how they're pressuring our government to toe the policy of the far-right extremist Israeli government. When I saw that in 2020, it really stuck with me because anti-corruption measures have always been kind of the driving front of my personal politics. And after seeing that, and then if I ever talked to anybody else about it, they didn't really know what I was talking about. So it just was like a glaring like red flag, like something, why isn't anybody talking about this? So that was always in my mind. And then of course the genocide starts picking up after October 7th, really starts escalating. We have a live stream genocide. And still nobody's connecting these dots of why are our officials okay with being complicit in this? Why are we sending American tax dollars to be used for war crimes? Why are we sending American-made weapons to murder women and children and innocent civilians? So I just started doing some digging for myself, and I was kind of surprised to see how the information was always accessible, but it just wasn't maybe easily accessible or like broadly pushed out anywhere. So that's when I had the idea to start a Twitter account.
Track
AIPAC. We started that in April of 2024. And within about a month, we had 100,000 followers. So people were just like...
It was shocking watching how quickly it became a thing. And I know, really, I'm assuming but you may be surprised. It's become a right-wing lightning rod as well.
We've definitely followed.
Yeah, okay, good. I mean, that's part of the reason I was also interested in talking to you is because, did you guys anticipate, from the beginning, you came together, you created this. It has become like a genuine, like when you quote tweet a politician or something. This may seem a little foreign for any of our listeners who are not on Twitter, but I mean, this is where elite discourse happens, right? This is where most people who are battling it out in the so-called sphere of ideas. So what was the impetus of creating the graphics, the tracker, and then were you surprised at how quickly it caught on?
So pretty much the idea was to take a complex topic and put it into a format that could be that somebody could digest within like 2 seconds of looking at it. Everybody wants to say that the Israel-Palestine conflict is complicated. It's not. It's really not. The reason that our officials are towing this line is because they are in the pocket of foreign interests who pressure them to do so. I was definitely surprised to see how quickly it caught on, but given how just the amount of atrocities that everybody's seen, I think everybody was kind of looking for like the reason, like the actual, why is this happening?
Well, and to Saagar's point, anytime you'll see an official, say something shitty, and then below it, inevitably someone is sharing your graphic saying, well, this is why. Like, look at all the money that they're taking.
Yeah, if it's not our own account, it's certainly other people that are sharing our graphics. And
that's exactly right.
That's how we've seen how quickly it has spread. I mean, not only have we seen the graphics showing up everywhere, they're showing up in text. We're not on TikTok, but our content is all over TikTok.
Everywhere. Yeah.
It's everywhere. And we really started to see the difference in how elected officials began to engage because of the change we were having on the dialogue. We started to see, you mentioned Seth Moulton, he came out recently, said he was rejecting AIPAC money. Well, we actually had a response to that and we said, okay, well, we're not impressed yet. So you can't tweet your way out of supporting a genocide. So we're going to see some proof from your votes.
Yeah.
But there are other elected members who have in the past taken AIPAC support. They are now rejecting it. More and more candidates are running on an anti-AIPAC platform. We have people that come to us and ask us to help vet candidates. And we even have members of Congress that have reached out to us and wanted a dialogue.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot of how we know the impact that we're making.
Well, that's real power. That's how you go from a Twitter account to like being actually influential, which is, it's kind of amazing to watch. It's never existed before.
It's pretty incredible the amount of people who have reached out through our DMs, like many members of Congress. I'm not going to say who they are, but if any other member of Congress wants to reach out, we're always happy to have a dialogue.
Absolutely.
Well, and Casey, let me ask you a little bit more about this Seth Moulton piece, because there's also some reporting that first he went to AIPAC, and when they were like, yeah, we're not going to give you money, he was
surprise.
like, I hate AIPAC. I'm totally not taking AIPAC money.
This is exactly why we didn't throw out the colossal amount of praise for him. Like, thank you for calling out that AIPAC is a corrupting force. Yes.
Well, and what would you say? Like, what's the next question to ask? Because AIPAC also, it's important for people to understand, AIPAC has kind of become the catch-all. They're not the only part of the Israel lobby, though. In a lot of Democratic primaries, there's this group DMFI that Ryan Grimm, our colleague, has done tons of the best reporting on, in fact. But, so what is, once you get, okay, here's this moneyed interest, AIPAC, what is the next question to ask that politician if they're now able to check the box? Okay, I'm not going to take AIPAC dollars. Because we've also seen some reporting that maybe what happens is the individual AIPAC donors give the money. So they can technically say they're taking AIPAC money, but they're really getting, still the same amount from the same group of people.
So this is actually part of the work that we're doing through the PAC, is we're actually expanding on the data project that we started with Track AIPAC. We are going to be beefing up that infrastructure and digging deeper, because certainly it didn't start with the more recent rejections of AIPAC, with the AIPAC brand becoming as toxic as it has at this point. They have always funneled donors directly to the back door, but not to the same degree that we're starting to see it now. We're starting to see reporting about leaked emails where they're just directing people straight to secret donation pages. So with knowing that that's happening, we are going to be expanding our data infrastructure so that we can more accurately report like the full picture, to see these individual donors also get folded into into the numbers.
There's the individual donor, there's the ADL. There's an entire network of this stuff. We've gone up against it. We've faced significant obstacles. So I'm curious, what's it been like, on the receiving end of this? I mean, they'll go after you.
We're starting to feel that, and that's
so tell us about that.
Why we're here.
So I would probably go back about a month ago. AIPAC started going on a tirade on Twitter. They were tagging us, replying to a bunch of our posts, quoting us, trying to invalidate our data, trying to smear Ro Khanna for praising our work. And it didn't really work out for them, so I guess they just went away. But interestingly enough, about a week after that is when we started seeing my information be posted into our replies. So it's like my picture, some information. I ran for a Democratic Central Committee office a few years ago. So that's how they found some of my basic details. And they don't have anything else to go on, but they're just kind of spinning up all sorts of different narratives about who I might be or who I'm working for. So that was just kind of interesting to see. It was very obviously an organized effort. Like we could see which accounts were kind of
points.
Okay. So who do you work for then?
I work for myself.
Okay.
We work for.
You guys work for the PAC?
We work for the PAC, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, the work that we're doing through the PAC currently is on a volunteer basis. I mean, we've been really focused on building our war chest. We both have other work that we do, but we've been focused on building our war chest for the last year. Has been my focus. While Casey's been driving the data transparency project, I've been driving the kind of fundraising and building up our resources, because we do intend.
The inevitables out of the way? No foreign funding.
No foreign
Zero
ticketing.
foreign funding.
No
none.
Qatari funding.
No Qatar.
No
funding.
No Qatari funding.
None.
Okay. All right. We're sure. We're
Soros.
100% sure.
100%.
Soros got it. Soros.
Never
I
never
don't
met
know.
the man. Don't
Never
know
met
anything
the
about
man.
him.
Okay.
No.
Who else? Who are the other boogeymen?
You're on the right. I don't know. you can tell me who you people are concerned about.
Let me think. I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So it's
Yeah.
just normal Americans who are upset.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
What role do you hope that your organization plays in? I think it seems like there's sort of a Democratic Tea Party that's brewing. Zoran Mamdani's victory in New York City was a major earthquake in terms of national politics, in terms of Democratic Party politics specifically. What role do you all hope to play in the forthcoming primary season?
Yeah. Well, we set out to really make working with AIPAC a political liability. That has been our primary focus. That was how the Track AIPAC project started, and then I founded the PAC, and we got introduced by mutual connection, brought the two, realized immediately like our work was very synchronous, and decided to merge our efforts into one thing. And so that's now what we lead together. But that's the goal, really, is we want to make working with AIPAC a political liability. And that's the reason why it's in the name, Track AIPAC, Citizens Against AIPAC Corruption. We're coming straight at them. When I saw what they did to Andy Levin, when I saw the way that they have smeared and attacked Bernie Sanders repeatedly, when I saw what they did and the money that they spent against Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman to take them down, I was so furious as a person who worked in this space that no one was going on offense against AIPAC, or that there wasn't, I can't say no one, that there wasn't enough of a forcible offense against AIPAC. And that's what we set out to do, is to go on offense.
Well, I was telling you last week I interviewed Summer Lee, who is representative from Pittsburgh, and she had just put out like the most mild tweet about Israel, one tweet, one time about Israel. And that was enough for the Israel lobby to come in and spend millions of dollars against her. She narrowly wins. She was able to overcome it, and she narrowly won. And she said, I think now it would be different, because at that time there just wasn't a level of awareness. And now obviously the genocide live streamed in all of our feeds is the biggest part of the awareness of just how horrific this country is, and the policies coming from this country, our own politicians' complicity, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, with the atrocities that are being committed by Israel. But you guys really helped to sort of coalesce this understanding of the inner workings. So I just want to say, thank you for doing that work. It's been incredibly important. It's been very useful for us as journalists. When I'm interviewing, when we're interviewing a senator, it's helpful to have right there exactly where they're taking money from.
Sometimes you clip some of my spiciest content, and then other people, it can cause a lot of problems in my personal life. So this is the last question, I think, about the inevitable anti-Semitism. Okay, so that's part of the criticism I hear. Hey, it's anti-Semitic to say AIPAC should register as a foreign lobby. These are American citizens. They're rightfully spending their money as they would like. What's your response to that? Is it anti-Semitic to track AIPAC funding? Why aren't you tracking Nigerian funding or any of these other things?
I would say it is not anti-Semitic to stand against an ongoing genocide that's being perpetrated with American backing, American tax dollars, and American weapons. What we're doing here is taking information that's always been publicly accessible, but making it more easily accessible and digestible for the public.
Yeah.
And I would guess that you guys would support the tracking of other money in politics
100%.
as well.
Yeah. And, I mean, you can look at we have Track AIPAC, which has recently started up. So that's kind of our next target, is the big oil lobby.
Yeah, and working in progressive politics as I've always worked with candidates that stood against corporate PAC money. It's actually one of the litmus tests for candidates that would like to get an endorsement from us. Is one of the questions we have is will you support overturning of Citizens United and standing against corporate money in politics? It's very important to both of us.
Got
And that is actually my last question, is you guys are backing a slate of candidates.
We are.
What are the specific criteria that they have to meet to be considered for your endorsement?
So these are candidates who are going to reject money and support from AIPAC and their allies. So that would not be just AIPAC. It's the other groups like DMFI, RJC, if they're on the Republican side. There's a whole slate of other groups. We also asked them if they would support enforcing the Leahy laws to make sure that we're not sending weapons to be used in war crimes. We asked them if they support Palestinian statehood, for the U.S. to stop blocking such votes at the UN. And
do they consider it a genocide? What's happening?
Israel genocide?
That's a deal breaker if they don't.
Genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Citizens United, because that's really a key to getting big money out of politics.
Interesting.
Amazing. Well, if you guys want a different type of politics, you know, they've created incredible resources for you all to go and see who the candidates are, who the, you know, members of Congress are, what kind of money has been flowing into their coffers, so you guys can choose candidates that, you know, ultimately align with your values. And I have personally, you know, consulted your resources. I will make, you know, contributions at times to candidates, and if they're not on your list, they're not going to be on my list.
Wow.
There you go.
That's great. We love that.
At the end of the day, it's public data. That's all you did.
It is,
Okay?
yeah.
Exactly.
So, you know, for all the people who are freaking out about it, like, sorry, all right.
And if
Yeah.
people want to support the work we're doing, as I said, we've been building up our war chest. We're still building it. If they want to support the work that we're doing, we can go to citizensagainstapac.com or TrackAIPAC.com. Either one of those, we have a donate button right there, and any contributions are helpful. Like we're really focused on being able to make a big play in some of these upcoming primaries.
All right, there you go.
Amazing. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Great to
guys.
meet you both.
Appreciate it.
Great to
Thank
meet you.
you.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.